Saturday, April 20, 2024. At 3:30 a.m., I woke with a start by the smell of smoke. My bedroom overlooked the valley below, and I saw several fires. My sleep was over. It's time. This is it. Game on. I switched on a garden light, lit the lantern, got dressed, put my headlamp in my pocket, and went to work. First, I closed all the windows, drapes, and shades. Next, to the gun safe. I got my Colt 1911 45, Remington 12-gauge pump, AR-15 223, Smith & Wesson 22 police revolver, 22 mini 5-shot Derringer, Winchester 30-30, and Remington 20-gauge pump, rounds, shells, and loaded the same. I holstered the 1911. It was heavy. I put the 22 mini in one pocket, pepper spray in the other, knife on belt. I placed the 12-gauge, AR, and ammo on the kitchen island, and the 22 police revolver, 30-30, 20-gauge, and ammo on my bed upstairs. Where were the police? I'll tell you where. They are home with their families. This would be every man and woman for themselves. I went out to the balcony and strained to hear. Still no sirens. Just the crickets and barking dogs as before. Then I heard what I was listening for. A gunshot. Then several. Way off. Down in the valley. I made a pot of coffee. With hot coffee in one hand and the 12-gauge in the other, I watched the valley and my street till first light. I decided to relocate 75% of my dry and canned food reserves and other supplies down the hill, below and away from my house, along the concrete swale. It wasn't visible to my neighbors or the street. I could retrieve items as I needed, and hopefully the cache wouldn't be vulnerable to discovery. Also, I could temporarily hide out down there if I had to. Just stay quiet, still, and nobody would know anyone was there. No one would search or explore down there. Why would they? It wasn't if, but when the hordes of the starving, looters, gangs fronted by hungry women and children, thugs or killers got up this far. But the local neighbors would probably have destroyed everything already by then. It was mid-morning, and I had spent hours carefully moving ammo, food buckets, water containers, and other supplies down the hill, and quietly hiding them under the small trees and bushes along the swale. I hoped I hadn't left an obvious trail. I kept the rest of the food and water in the house for consuming, bugging out, or if needed, bartering. I was a sweaty, dirty mess, tired, thirsty, and hungry. I took a cold bucket bath and ate a small breakfast, but I was still hungry. If I burned through calories like I just had, I'd need to eat more, and that cut into my consumption time calculations based on a maximum intake of 2,500 calories a day. In case I had to leave altogether, and assuming the roads were clogged with disabled vehicles, I had the motorcycle. I wondered if it got fried too. It was old, mid-1980s, so maybe not. I kicked it over and it fired. Great, not EMP affected. I shut it down immediately. No need to alert the neighbors. Next I slimed the tires, topped off the tank, greased the chain and axles. I spray painted all shiny, reflective surfaces with black, dark-colored paints. It wasn't pretty. I headed the bike forward behind the closed garage door and attached the little trailer. I decided that if I was forced to leave, I would try to make my way to Bryan in Bishop. Next, I turned to my bug-out preparation. If I hit the road, I would carry 3 backpacks. The biggest one on my back, a smaller one on my chest, and its twin on the gas tank. In addition, there would be 2 over-the-shoulder smaller range-style bags. The big backpack would carry my essential items, the chest and tank packs, replenishment for those items, and additional ones. The over-the-shoulder bags would have a few quick grab items like water, power bars, and weapons. The trailer would carry my bedroll, miscellaneous useful items, a few tools, extra gas, and oil. At 4:30 p.m., I decided to take a break. I was exhausted. I made sure all the doors and windows were locked. Then I took all the weapons, ammo, and a kitchen timer to the master bedroom upstairs. I barred the door and set the timer for 1 hour. I didn't know when or if I would get the luxury of a full night's sleep. I laid down, hand on the 12 gauge. I slept, yet didn't, if you know what I mean. There were crazy half-dreams. I heard myself snoring, yet was startled by the timer's ring. I got up and checked the valley, but couldn't see much as it was very smoky. I decided to take a second bucket bath, this time warmed by the sun. It felt great, was refreshing, and woke me up. It was time to get back to it. I downed a large glass of water, grabbed a tortilla spread with some peanut butter and honey. I got the radio and tuned in the BBC. Damn! Guam had been hit by a North Korean missile. There had been no nuclear blast, and it was assumed the missile had malfunctioned. America had retaliated and hit North Korea with several smaller nuclear cruise missile strikes. China had attacked the carrier USS Carl Vinson with missiles. It was sinking. America had hit the Chinese port of Dalian with many conventional cruise missiles. My hands were shaking. What had been academic was now all too real. I put the radio back and got the two-way, tuned it in, and just listened. The chatter was a lot less. I guess a lot of radios were EMP fried last night. I didn't think there would be another EMP attack. I decided to still keep the radios in the microwave anyway. I retreated to the patio, my favorite space. It was very quiet and smoky, like a silent hell. I coughed on the thin smoke. I decided to check on Alice and see how she was doing. She probably smelled the smoke too. On her front door was a note. "Bill, come in. Door's open. I'm upstairs." I opened the door and called her name. No response. A sense of dread came over me as I climbed the stairs. I stopped and called her name again. "Alice, it's Bill." Again, no response. She was in the master bedroom, lying on her bed, dressed in an evening gown, rosary in hand, a beautiful cut crystal tumbler, and an almost empty vodka bottle on the bedside table, a spilled-out bottle of white pills next to her, and a lace handkerchief over her face. I checked and she was cold and had no pulse. Alice was dead. On the nightstand next to the bottle was a note addressed to me. It read, "Bill, thank you for your friendship and helping me over the years. I apologize to you for finding me like this. 3 weeks ago, the doctor gave me 6 months to live. I don't want to suffer and die like that. It would be just too hard on me. As I controlled my life, I controlled my death, and I chose this time for my life to end. I've lived a wonderful life. I have no regrets. I'm grateful for my life. I feel blessed and happy. I am at peace. May God forgive me and Jesus take my soul. I have no living family and hereby give everything I own to you, my neighbor and dear friend, Bill Albright. Be well and safe. Alice N. Durland." On the bed next to her were 2 antique cloth Bank of New York cash bags and a note. "The jewelry is for your daughter, and the coins are for your sons." One bag was full of beautiful bejeweled and golden rings, necklaces, and bracelets. They looked like they were made by the best designers of a bygone era. In the other bag were 40 or so gold coins. I sat on the end of the bed for a little while, staring at the smoke and not knowing what to think. Is this PTSD? I wanted to cry, but I didn't want to at the same time. I carefully folded the bedspread over Alice, took her crucifix off the wall and placed it on top, and said a little prayer. I opened the windows and took both bags and notes. Going back downstairs, I stopped, and was taken back by the truly exquisite antiques and wonderful vintage plein air paintings she had on her walls. It looked like many of the 1930s and 40s California masters were there, each unique in their style and each worth tens of thousands of dollars. I was saddened knowing the probable fate of these beautiful, one-of-a-kind, irreplaceable, masterful artworks. I thought, so this was Rome, and the Vandals would soon be at the gates. I went into the kitchen. There was a stench of rotting food coming from the refrigerator and freezer. Everything else was clean and uncluttered. On the counter were Alice's 13 food items, and the pantry still held various boxes, bags, and cans. Only several empty vodka bottles told the tale. I found gallon Ziploc freezer bags. I put one bank bag each and the notes into gallon bags. Then I put each of those bags into 2 more gallon bags. 3 layers of watertight plastic. On the way back to the house, Franklin flew overhead and called, "Yes, you are right, my friend. I owed you." I took some time to feed him and not to think of my world. It was exactly what I needed. Thanks, Franklin. Now back to work. As the sky caught fire, with the setting of the smoke-shrouded sun, I placed Alice's gifts and more precious treasure of Mary's jewelry and my gold and silver coins in a watertight PVC Prepper ground vault cash tube and buried it deep in the unfinished vegetable garden. I had made sure to have non-electric hand tools, egg beater drill, brace and bit, a good sharp saw, and of course hammer, 4 to 5 inch long nails and screws. I busied myself preparing the house for the attack I knew would come sooner or later. As quietly as I could, I dismantled the 2x4 and recycled door storage shelving in the garage to use the components to block easy access to the first floor windows to slow down potential intruders. But if it got that bad, I hoped I'd be gone already. No dinner tonight because I was too wired to eat, but I knew I should. I guzzled some water, ate a pack of Austin crackers, and rubbed my burning eyes. It was past midnight, and I'd been up almost 24 hours. There was a lot more that had to be done, but I needed sleep. I had to double my efforts tomorrow. I locked and barred the bedroom door. I hoped I could sleep. Did I dare sleep? There was a lot more distant gunfire, and I wondered if I could dodge the bullets in this new world.